Hello and welcome back to Helpful Human Design Tips. This week we are chatting about a fairly new concept to me in human design called the Magnetic Monopole, which I had never heard of this until maybe, 3 or 4 months ago. And I was like, what is that? That is very fascinating. So let me explain what that is first. Okay, so I'm not super sciencey, but I do know that magnets do have two poles, right? So you have your North Pole and your South Pole if we're talking about the magnets inside of the Earth. And from those, the Earth kind of emits this electromagnetic energetic field around it, right? It's very interesting, but it requires the oppositions, which is the law of polarity, right? You need the North Pole and the South Pole. It moves energy through and it kind of attracts things in via this torus shape. All right. Now, in human design, according to human design, each person has what is called a magnetic monopole. And what it is it's inside each of us, kind of located in our G centers. And from what I can understand and how I visualize it is when you take your unconscious human design chart and your conscious human design chart, and then you kind of overlap them a little bit. This makes your quantum human design chart. And I think there's a lot of is this real or is it science or whatever, but it kind of makes sense to me in this way. So just bear with me, all right? This is how I understand the magnetic monopole. You take your two charts and then you overlap them, which creates your quantum human design chart, okay? And when you do that, it's kind of like this little magnetic magic happens and you start creating your own energetic field, right? And so based on your chart, this is the kind of type of person that you are. And that's your aura that is around you and how you go out into the world, right? We talked about aura types in a previous video, so you can check that out to get a little bit more information about that. But the magnetic monopole, according to human design, okay, which is a pseudoscience, but kind of makes sense to me, all right, how this works, is this magnetic monopole kind of overlaps and then it kind of radiates out in that torus-like field radiating from your G center, okay? And so your G center is your place of identity and self and who you are, right? And so when those overlap, you kind of have this this little magical sciencey thing happen, and you start kind of generating your field. And so this is how we attract things into our world, right? When we combine those two things and they overlap, we start emitting our energetic field. And our energetic field gets stronger, pulling things in or radiating out that energy into the universe when we follow our strategy and our type, right? So as a generator, I'm taking my unconscious design and my conscious design, I'm overlapping them, which makes me a quantum generator. And when I respond to the world, when I wait and let things come into my field and then respond to those by listening to my emotional authority, the more I do that, the more magnetic I become as a person. And so it's super, super fascinating to me because I was like, this is basically what science says, right? But it is the law of attraction explained in human design form from this magnetic monopole, which is located in our G center. And this is how we attract things into our world. Every time I think about it, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And I just love it. And so this magnetic monopole is kind of centered in your G center, which is right underneath your throat. And so very close to that manifesting point of where we are trying to verbalize or, express in whatever way we want out into the world, right? So we are pulling things in, we are running energy up through our throat and then expressing everything out. And it's just, it's awesome. I mean, it's just really, really cool. So what an interesting concept. If you have ever heard about the magnetic monopole, let me know below in the comments, or shoot me a message at my website, www.christyasturtevant.com, because I think this is like one of those things, like I said, like I think somebody mentioned it in a class and I was like, what is that? And so I started diving in and doing all of the internet searches, and this is how I visualize it in my inner vision. But I would love to hear anyone else's thoughts or inputs on what they have. But magnetic monopole is it's proof, I guess, in human design that we basically are like super magnets attracting things to us that are just like little orbs of energy walking around that can only get stronger and stronger when we follow our type and strategy, which is so cool, right? So again, check out my video on the types and strategies if you are curious about that. And awesome stuff for this Thursday. I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next time.